Security to the ER. Security to the ER.
Dr. White, call your office. Staging Dr. White.
Yes? Yes. Okay. Okay, I'll look. Call you back. Come with me to White's office.
Dr. White, call your office. Staging Dr. White.
That was an amazing piece of surgery. But who the hell are you?
I'm Dr. Hazard. I'm also Dr. White's longtime assistant. He informed me to help you with whatever you needed, but he already had an appointment at the Red Zone front. He also mentioned a dislike of being watched in surgery without prior knowledge.
Why would Dr. White have not saved the patient if he knew the Grand Inquisitor was watching him?
No. That would only be if it was the Medical Safeties Committee. Dr. White would probably had to include the cards to explain it.
So you think Dr. White is better than the Safeties Committee?
No, sir. It's that single doctor working here is better qualified. I'm sure you know that. 2 members on the council have strong church connections. Here we are a few years after Roswell encounter. Alien technologies is around us, yet this superstition of a heaven or hell still infects the minds of our greatest leaders.
Ooh, strong words for one of the security departments of a beloved nation, and so soon after a war in what is actually a military-held zone under my martial law.
Sorry. It's just that they have said worse of both Dr. White and me. How can we help the Department of Law?
It's not a problem, but I did notice that back there, during the surgery, it seemed a little out of control.
They saved his life?
We'll have to wait and see if they saved his life, or maybe only his body.
Ow. Excuse my friend there. Riddle can be a little abrasive.
Did you say... was that Sergeant Riddle?
Maybe.
Inquisitor Lestrange, did you know I worked with Dr. White when he created the very same immunizations given to our soldiers these days before they enter the radiation fallout zone? Sergeant Riddle was one of 100 who were in our first test group. It seems her promotion was actually a condition of volunteering.
Not like my commanding officer, you know. Problems with authority.
I'm glad to see you as a civilian, Riddle, instead of an agent of law. The most ex-soldiers guess you came out clear on your blood test.
Clear enough. And the glowing is barely noticeable.
Glad to hear it, because further research has found some flaws with the original batch. We've upgraded the original alpha formula, and it seems you never got the booster.
No.
I could take care of that right now.
Hell no. I clearly said no, so back off.
I'd like to agree with her, Doc. Besides, her test med scan cleared her at 99%. That little injection may tip it, so no booster is required. This has been fun and all, but that's not why I'm here. Riddle's just here to buy my lunch. What I needed was to gain a little insight into a current case. You were in the trenches with Dr. White, correct?
Yes. Why?
I would think that any doctor, better than the Medical Security Committee, would be smart enough to see it. Maybe that's why I came to see Dr. White. It might be more intuitive than education. I'm not impressed yet. To the point, then. These wounds emit a few Geigers of atomic radiation above the already high background levels. Interesting enough, but not impossible. But its quantities increase in a centralized pattern, comprising of a series of spirals.
As in a handprint?
You're starting to get it.
Is it identifiable like a fingerprint?
Not as of yet. I was first checking to see if this was even possible, so now on to why I was here.
Interesting. You see here, it's in the patterns radiation generated from a standard mechanical source has a regulated mechanical light flow. While in the raw form, such as uranium, it may be regular, but its levels will fluctuate on its own, like the Earth's magnetic field.
And yet...
This is much more chaotic, even understandable ways. I would have to assume from the info you've given me that it's not residential radiation, but a sort of bioatomic energy. Could it be we've an infected who escaped the rad zone?
I don't know. That's your field, I thought. Would you or your boss go on the record of saying that it's at least possible?
Yes, but not very probable.
Are you saying we have a zombie loose in the city with some sort of radiation towers?
Now, Riddle. She's talking about a radioactive infected, not some sort of comic book supervillain.
But this is all theory. It could be anyone who's been exposed to something left behind from the fallout. It could simply be an overexposed soldier on leave. There's just not enough information. That's why I said improbable.
Well, that's a relief. Thank you for your time.
No problem, sir. And Sergeant Riddle, if you ever get over that needle fear, come back and I'll take care of you for free.
Fuck you, bitch. There was no damn way I was letting them keep my records. Besides, I was sure she wouldn't put up a fight.
So, do you think Dr. White's at the front?
If he was, I would have known. Nothing is an emergency at the Rad Zone border unless I have said so.
Do the zombies have to get approval before they attack?
No, but it is not an emergency until I have the proper paperwork filled out and I have granted it the title emergency.
Really? What if the wall comes down quicker than the mail?
In such an extreme condition, I can grant the status over the phone, but the paperwork needs to be filed afterward.
So what happens after you grant this emergency status?
They can have access to fire trucks, rescue equipment, even helicopters with law officer pilots.
So where does that differ from calling a civilian police department for an emergency?
They have to fill out the paperwork.
Maybe I'll call them next time. I had enough of the Grand Inquisitor of Lestrange for now. It was time to get some work done.
First that dead girl, then you. Here with our prime suspect. Pity. I'm gonna have to interrogate you.
Lestrange, I was just...
Someone turn her over before she chokes on that vomit and collect the sample.
What the hell is going on? Oh shit, a dead body. That's never good. I wasn't even here. Ever! example of that.
No sleeping, sir. I want to make this simple.
For me or for you?
So, was it the body that made you sick?
No, I've seen worse.
That's what I thought. Hell, you've left worse messes to clean up.
Nothing ever proven. Are we really gonna do this, 17?
Yes. Orders from the great Inquisitor to... So, why did you get sick?
I don't know.
Interesting. Don't worry, I will only search for that is related to Denise's murder case. Oh, and the newest death. Nothing personal. Luckily, I won't need you awake for this.
You could just ask me.
You would lie.
You're right.
You suck so much.
Well, if you just inform me of what you were doing, maybe some year I could trust you enough to believe you. Till then, though, you get the same treatment as every civilian in the Tri-Cities.
Shut the fuck up, I'm so busy hating you.
Would it help you if I said this was all a misunderstanding?
La 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 la.
In short, we let him out a little while ago, and the men are getting your things so you can go as well.
What? I'm pretty sure that brute is guilty of something. Double check his bioscan.
We thought so too, but all we had linking him was Denise, and it ended up we don't have her body. Or should I say, not yet. She still fits the profile.
How did you get the wrong body?
Go down to the morgue, and number 27 will explain everything to you. Looks like the staples held nicely, but I have need of you.
Strange says you will enlighten me.
The difference between live and dead is so small. We understand that, don't we, Riddler?
Boundaries, bitch!
We found another one that also fit the description, so we printed them. None of them are Denise Darville. Now I have bad news for 6 mothers, 5 dead and 1 still missing, not counting that one last night.
And the serial killer, it seems?
Don't forget the radiation. Remember you puking and the damage on all the corpses, as well as was detected by me on that last murder scene?
The one I was at?
Yes, and based on that, it may be a more of a you situation, especially based upon the last thing you saw at the park as you got sick.
You mean right after my head hit the tree? You know that? You dicks!
Nope, the Grand Inquisitor says for you to head home and feed that pet of yours.